I've been drawing since kindergarten. Whenever I saw something I liked, I wanted to draw it. I remember being really into dinosaurs as a kid and drawing them a lot. My parents would praise how good the drawings were, which made me very happy. I found the process of drawing to be a lot of fun, and I enjoyed giving form to my ideas. The first manga I ever read was Mega Man by Shigeto Ikehara, which inspired me to try drawing more detailed, manga-like artwork. My mother noticed my passion and suggested that I learn figure drawing, and that's when I started studying art formally. In high school, my interest in manga grew, and I joined the Manga Research Club. That was probably the time when I devoted myself to studying drawing more seriously than ever before. A major influence was the manga Cloth Road by Okama, which I read in high school. It made me realize that I needed to think more about my own unique style. Okama's character designs are vivid and intriguing, with a unique skeletal structure that may seem strangely deformed at first, but has its own logic. This taught me the importance of having a personal rationale in my artwork. His designs convey not only strength, but also a delicate beauty that I find extremely appealing. This has been the biggest inspiration for me, pushing me to invest more in my own work. After I started working, I got the chance to meet other illustrators and noticed a stark difference from my art school days. In school, we focused more on the thought process behind the artwork rather than the technical skills. For example, our teachers weren't into using cliches like roses to symbolize love. They wanted our art to reflect our personal experiences. This meant that we didn't care much about mastering techniques, but instead valued understanding and contemplating the deeper meaning of art. When I went to exhibitions, I often found the art difficult to understand. The pieces were more about deep thought than straightforward technique, and most of them weren't the kind of art you would immediately find beautiful. But when I met other illustrators, I saw how dedicated they were to the craft. They were much more meticulous than many of my classmates, especially in their attention to color and composition, and their art felt more accessible and marketable to the general public. That was what I saw as the biggest difference. I think it was by accident. Before that, I went through a rough patch at work, which led to a mental breakdown where I cut off all contact with people and things. During that time, I lived with roommates, and that low period lasted about a year. I didn't talk to anyone or do anything. My roommates were at a loss about what to do with me. Around the same time, one of my roommates' 2 cats got seriously ill, and the other 3 roommates had jobs during the day and couldn't take care of it. The cat was in such bad shape that it needed a feeding tube, and honestly, I didn't think it would live. But since I was home with nothing else to do, I ended up taking care of it for over 2 weeks, until miraculously, it started to get better. After that, without any specific plans, I started drawing manga based on my experiences as a way to calm my mind. I drew manga about some fond memories from the past and casually posted them online, and before I knew it, a lot of people started looking at them. I started drawing funny 4-panel manga and illustrations and posting them more often. More and more people started looking at them, and eventually someone suggested a collaboration. I guess I was just lucky. The first time I felt like I truly lucked out was when I drew a 4-panel manga about Cthulhu some time ago. At that time, the concept of black humor in my manga may have been new, and to my surprise, it got more attention than usual, and my following grew quickly. This was a big turning point for my artwork. On the work front, last year I was given the chance to contribute as one of the artists to a short film project promoting the culture of Kita-Kyushu in Japan. It was an honor, especially since I got to work alongside illustrators whom I've always looked up to. Looking back, I don't recall any major setbacks, but sometimes when I draw, I feel my work doesn't meet the goals I'm trying to achieve. That doesn't mean I think my art looks bad. Thanks to the warm support from my dedicated readers and followers, I'm confident in my work, even when it falls short of my expectations. Still, sometimes I look back at my earlier works and can't help but cringe. After getting into future funk music, I also became interested in Vaporwave art. I really admire the creativity of artists like Suzy, Yoshitake Yamane, Kisumide, Piku, Fuyu Akatsuki, and Utomaru. They were huge inspirations during that time. I don't really feel a lot of pressure because our work environment is relatively laid back. Street dancing is another hobby of mine that helps me unwind. Ironically enough, when I get into a slump with my professional work, I often turn to creating fan art, which I really enjoy.